And so it's who you meet in your life and who you start working together. And even though I did not intend to join his team, but it was really, really nice. So anyways, so I've been so busy with looking back and also looking ahead. And so it's nice, very, very good opportunity that I run into Katie.
Oh.
Yeah. Oh, we already started the party already?
No, I know.
No. We should soon. So I have a couple people in the waiting room. I'm gonna, well, you find your reading. It's anything you read, it's gonna be good. I'm gonna put a little music on and then I'll start admitting people.
Okay.
I'm gonna grab a wine too.
Yeah. Okay. All right. There's that. Whoops. Uh-oh. Come on. Oh. All right. Right now the band.
Right, I'm gonna read these little sections. All right, I'm gonna get something. I'll be right back and go to the bathroom.
Okay.
Oh, here's Stephanie.
Yeah.
Oh, and Andres. Oh,
And Bianca.
Hey.
Oh.
Hey, beautiful.
Hi.
And Ken loves you.
Auntie Karyn. We're making finger puppets. Finger puppet.
Yay.
Fun.
That's awesome.
Kangaroo.
Kangaroo.
How is everybody? Mommy, which one is this?
Good.
Mama, the kangaroo.
Oh, I'm also cooking, so a lot of stuff happening in my house. Hold on.
Oh, there we go.
It's a party.
That's so cute.
It's a thing. We're making a kangaroo. We're making a kangaroo finger puppet.
That's fun.
Look what I have. I have a big Karma and little Cosmo puppet.
Oh, that's cute.
So they can talk to all different people.
That's so cute.
I'm going to share music and we'll see how this goes. All right. How is that on the level of the sound? Is that okay?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Good. This is one of the requested songs, Mr. Yoshino.
Oh, what?
For you. Yeah. Hi, Stephanie. Welcome.
Oh, that's Stephanie in Toronto or where is
Ottawa.
it? Ottawa, yes. I met her in Ottawa, yes. It's in May 3 years ago. Yeah.
Wait, which Stephanie? Because there's two of us now.
That's right.
I met Andres this year?
Yes. Hello, Stephanie.
It feels like 2 years ago.
So happy to see you again. Hello, Karyn.
Hello.
Yes.
You.
And Mr. Yoshino, I met last year. It also feels like years ago in Ottawa.
Yeah. Right. How is the what is her name? Ferguson? No.
France and Joanne?
France and
Yes.
Joanne.
They're doing well.
Oh, really?
Yes. Hold on.
Welcome, Kathy and Sam and hey, Kathy, Tony.
I know Claudia. How Claudia?
Hey there, Claudia. Thanks for your patience waiting there. Good to have you all. Oh, there you go. Look.
I have to print her the French one. Hi, Katie.
How are you?
Auntie Karen's got the French one. I have to print that one.
There we go. Way to go, Andres.
Thank you.
Hello, Katie.
Hi. I'm trying to see where the sounds are coming from. So many people. It's gonna be it's gonna be an interesting experiment to see how we do a party with so many people. Oh, hi! Look at all these great faces. Hi, Kathy.
I have pizza.
I have a little piece of cheese and I have a wine, large enough to survive 2 hours. Yeah.
Right. Cheers, Katie. Oh, hey, Crystal.
I get to see so many people. Hi.
So excited. I'm getting my glass.
Yeah, good.
Oh, good.
Hi. Oh, it's Kathy, we have Sam, Tony. Yeah. Oh, good. You got the music. We got the playlist from Isao and
We've got the Country Roads playlist going on. I think we should call it the Broom Closet playlist, from what I understand.
Yes.
I'm Mr. Yoshino. We met in Amsterdam, and hi, Karen. We met in Appleton.
Yes, I remember.
Oh.
Hey there, Tony.
Hi, Katie. How are you?
Good. Good to be here. Good to have
Hi, Karen.
How are you, Tony?
Good.
Nice to see you.
All these
Thank
people
you.
around the world.
Yay.
It's so the sad thing about publishing in a pandemic is that Isao and I were not able to do our global book tour, but the exciting part of this is that we can all come, we are all in places around the world and can join together from the comfort of our own homes. So it's good. It's nice. So there are pros and there are cons, but I'm really excited that so many people said yes to coming to our celebration today. Ooh, the screen's everyone's getting smaller as more people arrive.
They're all flooding in the doors now. Ooh, Jennifer, you are upside down.
Jennifer's upside down. You're wacky.
She's already dancing on the ceiling. Oh, there we go.
Yeah. Hey, Tom.
Hey, Katie. Hey, Renee.
Hi there.
Hey, Karen.
Bolton, you're joining too. Great.
Oh, hey, Monsieur.
Hi.
Yoshino, Monsieur Yoshino.
Hi. Have we met before?
Hey, Molly.
No, it's an honor.
Oh, it's first time. Okay, nice to meet you.
So you'll have a chance to talk with Tom when we do the interview for the LEI podcast that I sent you the message for.
Already.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, all these great faces. I'm loving it. Hi, Molly. Hi, Kate.
Hey, Tracy. And who's ever on the phone, the sole person that's on the phone, your number ends in 364. If you want to come off mute and tell us who you are, I can give you a name. I won't name you. Otherwise, we might just give you your name.
Yeah, you're just going to be a number. So this is reminding me of your story of how every NUMI training group, you'd get a cohort of this is like the pictures, and you'd memorize everyone's names based on their passport photo between day 1 and day 2. So I'm going to quiz you. I'm going to quiz you tomorrow. We'll get a printout of the names. Just kidding.
I have my cocktail.
Oh, good job, Crystal. Way to take one for the team. That's awesome. Hey, John, Shuck, you're on the call. There you are.
So I had trouble.
Oh,
hi.
Hi, John.
Yeah.
Difficulties.
But you're here. That's what counts. Good to see you.
Wow, nice beard.
You've got a nice beard growing since I talked to you last. Wow.
Oh, I just trimmed it a lot. It was. I was planning to audition for ZZ Top.
You're looking stately.
Which I learned recently is a joke that doesn't work with a different generation.
Well, you could play us some ZZ Top.
ZZ Top, what is that? So then they started Googling it.
No, everyone here knows who ZZ Top is.
Wow, look no, it's true. No, I found that, Tom. It's true. So hi, everybody. Wow. Look this.
Yeah.
I know. We're gonna keep growing. So it's great.
Yeah,
So fun with everyone. Thanks for coming, John. I'm so glad you could join us. It's great.
No, thank you.
We'll give it a few more minutes before we start, just because everybody.
Yeah, so and I have to say thank you to Renee for offering to host this wonderful event.
Welcome.
So
my pleasure.
Really appreciate it.
I'm all about having the party, so here we go.
She sent me a message and she said, have you been planning a party yet for yourself? And I said, well, no, I haven't figured out how to do it yet in a pandemic, but I want to have a party. And she said, I want to help you throw a party. So for you and Mr. Yoshino. And I said, thank you. So yeah, it's great.
Well, y'all deserve a party. And this looks like the good start to one here. So
yeah.
Yeah.
Yay.
Yeah, so.
Hi, this is Claudia. I'm just going to introduce myself. I know I've been sitting in the background. I just come back from a walk, so I'm all hot.
Well, welcome,
Claudia. I'm from Minnesota, and you probably don't know me, but I've been following your book a little bit around, so now I'd like to hear a little bit more.
Oh, great. Thanks for joining us. So happy you could join our book launch celebration. That's great. And I loved seeing the list. There are a lot of people I know who RSVP'd, know very, very well, and others who I know a little bit, and others I don't know at all. And so I'm really thrilled that you are all here to celebrate with us, and not just have, the intention of this is not just a webinar or a talk from Mr. Yoshino and me. It's about celebrating the output of our collaboration in the form of this book. So it's going to be an opportunity for all of us to get to know each other as well. Renee's put together some fun interactive elements of the session too, and we have some music. And well, I'll let Renee tell the whole. I'm taking over Renee's MC duties, so I'll turn it over to Renee because I'm used to being the MC. I'm excited to be. I'm not the host.
This is for you. You don't have to do it. This is for you. You don't have
I know. Thank you. I'm so used to. I've been on the webinar circuit.
That's great. I'm just going to stop the music for now. Put a pause on that. Oops. Oh, it says it stopped. That's interesting. Okay. We've already got all kinds of technical excitement going on.
Right. Well, it's technical excitement with more music than less music is not a bad thing.
No, it just means I'm still going to hear it, but you all won't. So that's all right. I'll keep in the flow here. So I think we'll go ahead and get started because, and then we'll have other people who will join, I'm sure. But welcome, welcome, welcome. It's so great to have you all here today to celebrate the collaboration of Katie and Anderson and Mr. Isao Yoshino, and especially the release of Katie's book. Let's see, let me get it right. I'm having a moment. Learning to lead, leading to learn. How'd I do, Katie?
Good job.
Yay. All right. Yeah. So we're really excited. And can you all just welcome and give a round of applause to Katie and to Mr. Yoshino for just the moment that we're sharing.
An accomplishment.
Yay. Yay.
Thank you.
Yay.
Okay. So a little bit about what we're going to do today. So tonight we're going to do our best to create a space of celebration and connection, and that I hope is going to be really meaningful and fun. And I just want to invite you to imagine that we're in a venue together in a pub or a restaurant or something, and we're going to do some, listening to some book reading and some of their comments, and we'll have some toasting, and we'll have some breakout groups where you'll have a chance to talk to each other. And then we're going to have some music too. And even if you're so inclined, you can cut up your own rug and dance. And we'll probably have some linger toward the end where we'll just, whoever can linger and wants to talk, we'll welcome that. So a little bit of encouragement about how to kind of bring Zoom to life, because this can kind of be a flat, medium if we don't kind of lean into it, so to speak. So we tend to be a little bit less responsive and quiet on Zoom, although I have my hopes for this group that won't be a problem. But so that we can really kind of bring it to life and affirm each other as we're going along. I just want to encourage you to kind of lean into the video, make sure you can see each other's faces that way, and we can give each other more visual clues. If you're backlit, try to get the light in front of you. And then things like clapping your hands or making a heart or giving thumbs up or, really nodding and smiling, waving or raising your hand. So anything that you can do to like visually affirm what you're hearing. You might be thinking all kinds of happy thoughts inside, but you kind of got to let it come out, right? Through the visual space. So just enjoy doing that. And then, so what we're going to do, we're going to have some short reading and some comments. We'll have a toast or two. Actually, we're going to have a father of lean toast and a mother of lean toast. We'll do some breakouts and share some insights and then have some music and conversation.
Yeah, that's right.
So that's
so my 6-year-old knows she meets breakout rooms. This is a Zoom expert right here. So got back this week. Grandpa, Grandma, Aggie, okay? Okay. You can come back later for the party, for the after party. Okay, can you shut the door?
I'm not doing after party.
Oh, you're not? Oh, well, there you go. I'm not doing the after party, he says. So much for that.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So, so now with that, a little bit of encouragement and some orientation, I just want to invite Katie to take it away and share a reading and some comments with her and Mr. Yoshino.
Yeah, so thank you, Renee, and thank you again for hosting. And again, we all have children or families or people around in our environment, so it's all good. Anyone's welcome to join. When Renee and I were talking about what this virtual party could look like, I was thinking about what was really sort of, to me, such a special part of working on this book with Isao, with Mr. Yoshino, and it really is the partnership and collaboration. And this is why we've really anchored around this concept of how when we work and help each other together, we can create so much more. And I think that speaks to, the relationship of the mentorship and relationship that Isao has with John, and then John with many others, and then to me and others, and that we really create this chain of learning. And Mr. Yoshino said this one thing to me about 1 + 1 = much more than 2. And I've taken that as my motto, and with Karyn as well. This is now our Katie and Karyn's coaching community motto, that 1 + 1 = way more than 2. And the testament you all here is a real testament to that as well. And so many of you have been an important part of creating this book. I have to say, Kate, my editor, is here. Kathy, my book coach. Stephanie, my publicist. God, I was struggling with the word publicist. I would get, darn it. Karyn, my developmental editor and moral support coach, and so many more. So I just want to thank you so much. And of course to John for writing that wonderful foreword and sharing his insights that really helped me reframe some things in the final editing process. So I was trying to think about how, what I was going to read in the book. And I thought a few elements, that just a very short reading. And then I really want to turn it over to Isao too, to talk about his experience of the partnership. So many of you have had a chance to engage much more with me on the book around this. And I'm so indebted, and I share this all the time, Isao, that the relationship that you and I have developed in the last 6 years has just been a blessing in my life. And this one day that was supposed to be what I thought was a once-in-a-lifetime experience, to go meet you in Nagoya and go to Toyota City, where I pulled John, my husband, out of work, has turned into one of the most special relationships in my life. And I have learned so much, not just from you, but with you. And thank you for your entrusting me to be able to share your story with the world. It's so valuable, and I learned so much, and I'm so grateful that other people are having the opportunity to learn really deeply from you as well. So I guess we'll have more toasts later, but that was just spontaneous. So I'm hoping you've all read the book by now, but I'm going to read a short passage from the book, and I could go on forever, but I'm going to share two small sections. One's from the preface, and the other actually is from the introduction. So here we go. If you want to follow along, it's on page 16. I've been watching my children in their school. So page 16, follow along. Listen, and they're really good at Zoom experts now with all this virtual learning. So here we go. The power of reflection, partnership, and shared purpose. If you are like me, you enjoy a good conversation with an old friend, picking up where you left off, even if days, weeks, months, or even years have passed. That's how Mr. Yoshino and I created this book, one conversation at a time, oftentimes revisiting stories and concepts to go deeper and learn more. In looking back on the process of creating this book together, Mr. Yoshino often commented that our partnership has helped him learn anew about his life and his career at Toyota. He has rediscovered long forgotten memories, smiled when recalling the leaders who made a positive impact on his life, unraveled complex periods in his career, and re-examined his earlier lessons from a different perspective. He once remarked, "I am learning and relearning more about my life. There are things I knew then that I understand more deeply now." Over the 2 years leading up to the publication of this book, we talked several times a month, in the evening for me after my kids were in bed, and in the midday for Mr. Yoshino. We found ourselves laughing intensely on video calls when Mr. Yoshino remembered some long hidden stories, and we hope they inspire some smiles from you as well. And there have been memories of more difficult periods that have caused us to pause and revisit piece by piece over time. Through our discussions and friendship, we have both learned more deeply what it means to weave a life of purpose and intention. We have discovered we share a common fabric of purpose to lead international lives and to help others discover their best selves and to discover our best selves at the same time. Our conversations have not only led to a greater level of understanding for Mr. Yoshino about his own life experiences, but have led me to have deeper insights on both my own practices and on principles I've known from reading about Toyota. From hearing Mr. Yoshino's stories and perspective, I've also gained access to knowledge and insider stories that neither I nor you could have read in books until now. So that's sort of how it leads up. And then I wanted to also talk about this concept of weaving a fabric of purpose, which is really the framework in which I constructed the book and came out of a conversation, sort of multiple conversations with Isao. As we were talking many times a week for years, and we still do. But I was really starting to discover through our interviews, and I'm addressing Isao right now, through our interviews and discussions, like two real, I called them threads of purpose that were sort of uniting, or themes that were really uniting his life. And one was this real desire to live an international life and all the goals about pursuing an opportunity to live in the United States and learning English and everything along that. And then a real deep commitment to helping other people grow and develop, as well as growing and developing himself. And that was, then Mr. Yoshino actually is the one who highlighted to me this concept from Japan about warp and weft, and how these concepts can actually interplay together, about having the warp threads, just like Toyota started as a loom works company, the strong vertical threads on which we build the fabric, and then the weft threads, the ones that are interwoven in there too. And I know, John, you have a special connection with warp and weft as well. But I want to share just a short passage around this too. This is on page 29 if you are following along. So Yoshino shares a deeper meaning behind the weaving metaphor. In Japan, it is believed that the vertical warp threads represent the fabric designer's strong belief, clear vision, inner spirit, and determination to attain the goal of the completed fabric. Warp threads are spiritual, powerful, and consistent. The horizontal weft threads, on the other hand, represent something more practical and physical. At first, weft threads might not be as visible or obvious as the vertical warp threads, and may look plain or unspectacular before they are woven. However, once the weft threads join the warp threads, they bring a unique and rich fabric pattern to the fabric. And then we continue. Weaving a purposeful life fabric, the joining of the known and the discovered. Just like fabric, our life story and the fulfilling of our life's purpose is the interweaving of the known and the discovered. Sometimes until we look backwards, until we spend time in Hansei, deeply reflecting, it is difficult to see how the known and discovered factors of our life weaves together. Only in looking back do we see the result of these interrelated threads, the unique and rich pattern of purpose that we have created through our lives. And it can go on, but really this is the output of reflection and looking backward, and the partnership that Isao and I have had in really creating this book, and the power of him looking back and discovering really what his life fabric looks like. And I offer it really for you all to reflect on your own life fabric and think about the threads that you're weaving together as well. So I want to thank you all, and I want to turn it over to Mr. Yoshino to talk a little bit up to the group about just a few words about what the process was like of our collaboration and working together. And we were starting to talk about it before the live session started as well. So thank you again. So appreciate you so much.
Well, Thank you very much. When I look back, how we met each other, it was in Long Beach. That John Shook invited me to join that session, and I went there and meet. Then that is where I met Katie and or other people. And then she told me that okay, my family is going to move to Japan for 18 months. And so then I invited her, oh, why don't you just come over and to Toyota City? Well, we're gonna meet and talk a little bit more, and that's how we met. Then she came over to Tokyo, and she started working, and then I invited her to Nagoya, and then it's very, very interesting to see that Katie just asked me so many questions to me. And, you know, as you know, we Japanese people don't talk so much. Well, we talk much, but we don't ask so many questions, so many answers, so much, interactions. But sometimes we try to read people's mind. But she asked me so many questions. Why did you start teaching in this university after you retired? 10 years later, you start teaching, or starting just like that. But she asked me so many questions about my life in Toyota City and in overseas countries. So, okay, she asked me so many questions. Why she's asking me so many questions? It's about my life, about my intention. So then I started recognizing that we Japanese don't ask questions so often to ourselves or to somebody else. So that is one of the first things that I was surprised. Then I recognized that, okay, she wants to know, she does not want to know the success stories about my life, but, you know, when I start talking about, Katie, I had bad times, something from time to time, bad times, and the good times, very few, but bad times, so many. Then she started to focus on bad times. And she keep asking about how you failed, what was the reason why, how you did after you just you failed. So she started talking about those failures, which is another surprise for me, because Japanese people don't try to ask those questions. Many people don't want to share all those bad stories, but she's so curious to know about why I failed, why I wanted to share with her. So then that is starting point for me to just look back on my life. I never, usually when you have some bad stories, bad experience, usually you don't want to come back. You don't want to remember. You just want to remember. You don't want to forget about it, throw it away out of your mind. And you don't want to just come back all those bad days when you feel so bad. But, when she started asking in a very nice way, then I started to looking back what I did, what I didn't do, what are the lessons I learned, what was the lesson I did not learn. So I start, finding all those things a little bit more clearly by being asked that question about her. So that is, I have never had that type of experience in my entire life. People don't ask my question about my life, about my past. So it was really, really important to look back all those all those my stories, particularly about the bad experience, because that is where you can learn some lessons. So I found out, I was, close to my retirement, around 60, then start learning something new, something very important. You have to look back what you have learned, or what you have not learned, then you can learn something new. So that is really amazing. So, this lady from America just wanted to learn something behind the surface. It's not on the surface story. She's so interested in knowing what was the trigger, what was the trigger to start teaching at university. So that was really very exciting moment to me. So then I invited her again. So she comes back to Nagoya from time to time. We just spent entire day from 9:30 to 5:30. And it was, so that's how our relations, our collaboration started. So probably, every time just she leaves Nagoya, she said, Mr. Yoshino, I learned so much from you, but my answer always, sometimes openly I say, but oh no, I learned so many things from you because you ask me so many questions. We can learn so many good answers, but not necessarily answers, but something important from the question people ask you. So that is how we met. So I was, okay, this lady is somehow different from the people I know, from the American people I know. So this is some new findings for me. So that's how I felt when I ran into you.
Yeah.
So I just have to say there's a lot of love coming through the chat right now. We all just want to like give you a big hug. We're loving, the crowd is loving what you're saying, Mr. Yoshino, and loving you, loving Katie. So,
It's all,
keep that at you.
I know, well, it's so clear, like after our first day, and this is sort of how our relationship began. Of course, I'm gonna jump on the Shinkansen and get down and spend the day together. I felt so incredibly fortunate to have not just the access, but the this opportunity, and we've continued to spend so much time together in the now 6 years. It's kind of crazy. It's been so long since that first meeting in Long Beach.
So other thoughts about collaboration or things that as your relationship unfolded and this project unfolded, you know, it's been quite a journey.
It has. It's been intense but wonderful. You know, I would say, you know, I talk about this a bit in the book, how some stories emerged very quickly and easily. I remember vividly Isao, I think it was almost the first interview we did. We like let's start it with our purposeful interview for the book. So it was about 2.5 years ago, maybe, or 2 years ago, and we sat down and I said, let's start at the very beginning, like your early days. So the paint story, if those of you remember that one where he poured the wrong mixture of the paint and 100 cars had to be repainted, you were laughing because you said you hadn't even thought of this in 40 years. And it's been like, it's the story that you and I both get asked to tell all the time now. And then up to the boat store, the boat experience, the last decade of the water ski boat experience, which was much more difficult and challenging, I guess, narrative and complex situation to unweave, and that took many years of our time in partnership. I would love for Mr. Yoshino to share something about his, not just our collaboration, but this is speaking sort of broader to the collaboration, and I know John will speak to the sense of partnership as well, but Mr. Yoshino stays in touch with his mentor, who is mentioned in the book, Mr. Segura, and recently had an interaction with Mr. Segura, who gave a wonderful, said something very wonderful things about the book. And Mr. Yoshino, I thought maybe you could share something about this person who you consider to be your most important mentor in the spirit of that collaboration as well.
Well, thanks for asking that that question, because I definitely say that Mr. Segura is one of the best mentor, one of the best boss, for a couple of reasons. One reason is because he's a good listener. He does not push me too much, but he listened to me very carefully, because it was right after I had a terrible experience working for a terrible boss for 2 years in Tokyo office. And I try my best to just try to work together with him in a nice manner, but he's so terrible. And so I just wanted to, I went to the big boss and why don't you just transfer me to headquarters or somewhere else I feel comfortable to work with. And then he put me back to a headquarters that where Mr. Segura works. So he knew that I had a hard time in Tokyo office. And he knew that, but he welcomed me back to headquarters, and he just listened to me very carefully, and also what amazes me is that he is not necessarily a strong leadership. Okay, do what I say, but now he's always tried to analyze his subordinates' ability and also energy and strong point, weak point. He wants to. He tried to nurture me, even though I'm not a small kid, but he tried to nurture me and to improve a little better in the one direction. And so he always tried to give me some small assignment or big assignment. And I thought at the time I felt that, oh, he's trying to coach me because he wanted to heal the hurt I received from my Tokyo office. And I did not share so much about my terrible stories in Tokyo office with even Katie, but still, it was really, really tough days. And I got sick. And it's not only the photochemical smog in Tokyo in those days, but it's mentally. But he knew that. So he just tried to salvage me. And so he's a good listener. He put me on his side desk next to him. And so I spent entire 8 hours a day and working together with him. So just the way he treats the newcomer in his group is different, and that is one thing I was so surprised and very honored. And also another thing he's good is that he is always trying to share his own experience. Easy to get run into the good, some nice, very intelligent people and heard very important stories. Then he came back and shared it to us. So I was wondering why he just shared the stories he heard, share it with us. So he wanted to share it with among his team members so that we can be on the same goal. We can attain the same goal, or we can have the same feeling. And he wanted to share his happy feeling that he had when he heard the story with the people working for him. So he is that type of person. So he's not aggressive. No. That is the reason why he was not promoted to the officers. He is very, very smart, very nice person, but he's too honest, and he's too nice. And so he does not do aggressive things. And so that is one of the things. It's not a weak point, but his strong point. But in order to survive in the big company like Toyota, you have to be aggressive. But he is not that. So that is one of the things that I discussed when we have a small meeting, and just me and him. I talk about it to him, and when we have some drinks, sake, and together, then we talk about very relaxing situation. I ask him, I have one question about him. I said to Mr. Sugiura, just how come you're so nice to us? And when you made a great job in our group, but you don't brag about it, but you just don't share it with other big shot, then you don't get the credit. So credit you're supposed to have. So that is the type, Mr. Sugiura's type. So he is too honest, too nice. But I was so happy that to run into his group, because there are so many things I could learn from him. So it's not a regular boss, and still now he's when I just send him the email, he sent back email right away, and he just did something extra to me because I talk something a little bit about one thing. Then he said, "Oh, Yoshino, I found some other document when I check with my storage, and the cockroach is running, and then I found the good documents." So I sent it right away next day. So that is his style, and of course he's not a regular Toyota person, but he's a very, very smart, but he's more calm type of person. And but he is very, always look at me just like a comrade, just like not he. I'm a boss, but not. He is always not try to not to be a boss, but he's just part of the team members. So still he just send me a very nice short comments every time I send it. And so that is the kind of energy coming to me even now.
Yeah, it's so wonderful. I was really, we were talking about how honored you were, and me too, that he had called the book an awesome book, and that he wants to bring it to the grave of Mr. Nemoto, which is
right.
a big honor. So yeah, it's so special, and that just ties into our concept of collaboration. Thank you for sharing. Renee, I'm going to turn it back over to you for emceeing.
Sure. Thank you both. It's beautiful to witness the relationship that you've developed over these 6 years, and then we get to enjoy the fruit of that in the book, and just, you know, further hearing what you've meant to each other. That just makes it all the more rich. So so thank you for being here, for sharing, and for all that you've given to, you know, to the world in this. We want to honor now with a toast, a couple toasts, a toast from a father of lean toast and a mother of lean toast. So John Shook, we're going to invite you to take a couple minutes and share any comments or reflections you want to have and lead us in the first toast. So John, it's all yours. You're off mute. Yeah.
Okay, I heard you say a couple of minutes, so I'll try to try to time myself. It's wonderful looking at this screen. First thing I did in the lockdown, actually I went and bought a big computer made a new workstation because I knew I was going to be at home. And it's been great. So I can see quite a lot of faces, and I bet I know a third. I won't call you out, except hi, Crystal, good to see you. And many others I'd like to say hi to, but Jeff and everyone else. But I won't do that. I don't know. It's hard to. So I go back really far, obviously, with I'll say Isao.
I know.
I'll tell you that it's very hard for me to say that because you don't use a first name like that.
Yeah.
And even to call him Yoshino-san is very difficult for me because that's also so I joined Toyota. We met in fall of 1983, a long time ago. And I was just joining Toyota in Toyota City. And as Mr. Yoshino just said, I can't say Mr. Yoshino, okay. Even that took a long time to learn to do. What you do is you refer to someone by the title. By your title, it sounds horrible in English, but it actually is defining the relationship. Mm-hmm. It's actually not a horrible thing. And it's just indicates the relationship. And so I called him by his title. And then of course, after we weren't working together, I don't know, we worked together 3 years before you went off to San Francisco, something like that. And then a few years later, we met, I saw him, and I called him by the title that he had when he was my boss. Now he had a higher title. He said, I said, don't call me that. You just gave me a demotion. Anyway, the point is the relationships are important, right? It's so important. And I think we can't overestimate what they mean. 1 + 1 is many more. That's really cool. We also often use said into it, 1 + 1 is 3. But I think it's much better to say 1 + 1 is many more if we have all the people here on the screen. But back in 1983, I'll just recall for a second that what Mr. Yoshino said, Toyota is not an easy place to work. So we write books sometimes we write the books about kind of the positive side, just as Mr. Yoshino just said. People ask him to tell, the success stories. And Katie surprised him by asking more about failure. Well, also so Toyota, it's yin and yang, right? There's no yes without no. So we have books, getting to yes. Everything is yes, but there's no yes in the universe without no. And so what happens in that ecosystem, it's an organization that acts like an organism, and it's very diverse, actually. And overall, it's a strong culture. An organization with a weak culture, it's easy to exist as an individual. You just be yourself. There's individuals that you have a relationship with. That means what you become is something different than you just were by yourself. So for me in 1983, Mr. Yoshino was so key to that. I don't know if I can do this. Oh gosh, I'm already taking too much time. But just I'm going to try to do something.
Oh yes, I love that picture.
So I said this to Katie and recently. You can't see it well, but the nearest man in a suit with his, finger on his chin, that's Mr. Yoshino. In about 1984, beside him in a suit is Ken Kunieta, who is my direct boss. And that's the full team right there. That's the team that we had with a big challenge. And so the idea was develop relationships so we would all be much stronger than we were as individuals. And my direct boss there, Mr. Kunieta, did not speak English. And for me, that was a challenge because my Japanese was okay when I arrived. That was okay. I mean, I couldn't I could barely survive a day. I was exhausted at the end of every day. And so Mr. Yoshino would occasionally take me aside, and we would go into a broom closet and have sessions where he would just ask me how it was going. We would talk about various things of how it was going. We discovered that we had a love of country music, and I think many of you may have seen this photo.
Yep, that one's in.
But that's actually Mr. Cuneta holding the microphone for us.
Perfect. I didn't know.
at a party. And that was a photo I showed of the work team a moment ago. Now here's the same team bonding in a different way. So this is at play. That was at work. This is at play. And I wasn't in the last photograph. I'm embarrassed to let you see where I am in this photograph.
Upper left.
There's an idiot there wearing a cowboy hat. That was just totally silly to do at that time, but that's what I did. And speaking of relationships, every few years in Japan, we get together. You'll see Mr. Yoshino in the front there, and that's the same team. And I'm in the middle in the back, and Mr. Cuneta is right behind Isao. So we developed relationships, and we're all stronger for it, I think. You know, and so it's 1 + 1 is much more. And I don't think the best of us comes out without that relationship being developed and nurtured and being something that we can become more of ourselves. And I know I'm taking too much time, just really quickly. I want to read just one note out of my forward, because okay, I'll skip some that I was going to say. But it's just that one of those broom closet conversations, we discussed someday writing a book together about the incredible experience that we were going through. We didn't know at the time how our amazing journey would end, but we knew something of historic magnitude was going on. We could feel that. It was powerful, and it was wonderful. I think we would both say in our careers, it was the most wonderful, intense time of our careers. And I think everyone has a time like that. This was ours, but everyone has something like that. And we were in the middle of this thing. It was exhilarating. It remains the most impactful, rewarding experience of my career. And what I want to say is we never wrote that book. And so I want to thank Katie now for writing that book and more. It wasn't just that one experience, but thank you for doing this. Thank you to Mr. Yoshino. Thank you to everyone joining. With that, I'd just like to make a toast to the success and ongoing relationships of all of us, certainly Katie and Isao, and also the book. A toast. Best wishes, everyone. Katie and Isao.
Katie and Isao. Cheers.
Yeah.
Thank you, John. That was beautiful.
Thanks for doing this, Katie, Renee. Thanks for doing the book. It's wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for writing such a wonderful forward, and for being my original connection to Isao as well. So it's again 1 + 1. I remember I want to say a word of thanks to John. When I was going to that Lean Coaching Summit, this is before it was just happened to be serendipity and spontaneity that Isao was at the Lean Coaching Summit, but I'd reached out to John. We'd just found out about the opportunity to move to Japan, and I asked if we could get together. And of course, at these conferences, John's super busy, and he carved out over an hour for me, and we sat out on the balcony, and he shared experiences about living in Japan and being an American, and gave me all these different connections for when I was there. And so thank you, John, for really helping set up my experience in Japan to be even that much more powerful. And it helped forever weave Japan into the culture of my life fabric as well. So thank you as well. No.
Wonderful. All right, John, thank you so much. It's so striking that you and Mr. Yoshino set an intention and state, you spoke something, let's write a book. And it's through, the generosity of your relationship and your introduction to Katie to Mr. Yoshino that did happen, right? A book came into being, a story was told. So that's really profound. And so we also want to welcome a mother of Lean into the toasting platform here. And so Karyn Ross, would love to invite you to share any comments and make a toast.
Thank you so much. And thank you so much, everybody, for being here. Katie and I, this is our symbol, right? So I'm going to continue on in the theme of 1 + 1 equals way more than 2. Bianca, I see you. 1 + 1 equals way more than 2. A number of years ago, Katie and I knew of each other from, you know, the process improvement world, but we never actually met each other. We talked to each other once in a while on FaceTime. We corresponded, but we never met each other. And then we both were speaking at the European Lean Educator Conference probably 3 years ago. And Miss, I know, can you believe it?
I know.
I know. And Mr. Yoshino was there as well. And you know how sometimes you just meet someone and when you meet them, you feel like you knew them your whole life and they're just like really your friend. And when Katie and I met each other in person, it was like, oh, like, I guess we've known each other our whole lives. And now how are we gonna, you know, work together? And so for the last 3 years, luckily before COVID, Katie and I have been able to probably once a quarter spend actual in-person time together. And when Katie said that she was going to write this book and she started thinking about it, I said to her, you know, I'm happy to help in any way, because one of the wonderful things about friendship and one of the wonderful things about being connected and being family, because I call Katie my chosen sister, is that you can always reach out and ask, how can I help? And so Katie said, well, it would be great if you know, would read what I'm writing. And I said, that would be absolutely amazing. And so I'm really excited because I got to read all the stories first, right? So I got to read what Katie was writing. I got to hear Mr. Yoshino's stories and give her some ideas about how to pull it together. So I'm really honored to be the developmental editor. And as we went through the journey and as the book turned from an idea into an actual book, from stories and thoughts into really learning to lead and leading to learn, it was really wonderful to see that fabric of stated purpose, looking back, weaving together Katie's thoughts, Mr. Yoshino's stories, turn into something that actually has a voice of its own. And now we all get to read it, we all get to enjoy it. And 1 + 1 is really way, way, way more than 2, because we're all going to take that, learn from it, and create forward. So I'm gonna give you a challenge and a task before the toast. Reach out to someone and ask how you can help them. Because 1 + 1 equals way, way, way more than 2. And a whole book might actually just come out of it. So to Katie, to Mr.
You think it will be though.
To Katie, to Mr. Yoshino, congratulations. It's a wonderful book.
Cheers.
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 Thank you.
Fantastic. Fantastic. Thank you so much, Karyn. And Katie and Mr. Yoshino, anything else you want to say for this part?
No, it's fine. And I think I already acknowledged, you know, many of the people who are here today who played a really direct role in helping support me through the book process. So thank you all for your contributions and helping bring this book forward. And so many of our K2C2 coaching members, like just having the community around you when you're working on something that's big is so helpful, and all my collaborators. So happy you're all here. So thank you. And now we'll move into Renee's fun.
Okay, yeah. So we've just had some beautiful stories and examples of, you know, how powerful collaboration is, and want to just give you all a chance to talk to each other, because, you know, if we were in a physical space, we'd be, you know, oh, come on over, let's sit over here and talk for a while, and we would do that, right? So we're going to do the best that we can with that right now. So you're going to go into random breakout groups of 3, or there might be 4. You're going to have, let's see, I'm going to give you 20 minutes, and you'll have a chance to talk about this question. Here's the question. So I'd like you to think of a time when you were part of a successful collaboration. Describe that collaboration. Who was involved? What did you do together? What was the impact of it? And what did that mean to you? And if you can't think of a successful collaboration, you just heard about one. So you could reflect on Katie and Mr. Yoshino's collaboration and what stood out to you from that. And so what I want to encourage you to do is take turns, take about 3 minutes apiece. So first, appoint a timekeeper, somebody to keep time for the 20 minutes. It'll be timed on your screen too. Appoint a timekeeper, take about 3 minutes apiece to just answer the question yourself, so it's sort of generous listening and uninterrupted sharing of your answer to the question one at a time. And then you can kind of break it open and dialogue about collaboration and what's coming out of your conversation. Just use this as a chance to get to know each other and to explore collaboration, what it's meant in your life and what you were just inspired by and what you heard. Okay, so you'll have 20 minutes, about 3 minutes apiece, and then a kind of a free-for-all conversation.
And I know a few people have to mention that they have to leave at the top of the hour, so that's no problem if you end up having to drop off. Or
yeah, that's fine. You'll just miss the country music, but you know.
We have to stay for or come back. We're gonna have Joe and John's playlists.
That's right. That's right.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I thank you, John.
Thank you, John.
I think Karyn has to leave as well. So thank you so much. Really appreciate you coming tonight.
Okay, and so with that, I hope you enjoy your conversations and your exploration of collaboration. I'm gonna
come back for more party.
When you're and let me do a little bit of moving here because there's been some. Let's see, move to there. Let me just make sure that the rooms are looking good. Bear with me here. Move to, let's see, somebody sing a little song here. Oh, there we go. Okay, I think that looks good. So there might be a one room of two, and so, oh, you know what? Hang on. This is like a moving target, y'all. So, okay, there we go. I think that's good. Okay, I'm opening it up, opening the rooms, and have a great conversation. See you in 20 minutes.
All right.
Bye. Bye, John. Oh, shoot. Hey, so I see that there's still a few people here, Denise and MN and Ver. I'm gonna unmute you all. Let's see, oops. Let's see, what is this? Stop recording.